ज्ञानाञ्जनमिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तत्सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone back again. We are continuing chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita, and as usual we will start with the summary verse of Sripad Yamunacharya where he summarizes the chapter, and then we will go into the verses. So we are done till 10.11 last time. Swakalyana gunanantya kritsna swadhinatamatih bhakti utpatti vividhyartha vistirna dashamodita. So what is the purpose of 10th chapter as per Yamunacharya? He says it is for bhakti utpatti. Bhakti utpatti means so that bhakti can be born in our heart, and vivridhyartha. So first of all, bhakti has to be born, and then bhakti has to increase. Okay, so how is bhakti going to be born, and how is bhakti going to be increased? So one should know about Krishna for that. The jnana of Krishna should be there, and that is the thing here, right? So if you see here, that there are two things in this chapter. Kalyana guna. Kalyana guna means auspicious qualities of Krishna, and Krishna swadhinatamatihi, how everything is subservient to Krishna, okay, how he is the Lord of everything. So this is basically the points of discussion in this particular chapter. So in the first part of the chapter, what happens is, of course, initially Krishna appreciates Arjuna, who is delighted on hearing Krishna's greatness, and he starts speaking from that because he's delighted. That's why he speaks. And then he starts saying that, you see, no one can know my glory so easily because even the devas, everyone. And then what he does is he starts listing various qualities in the 6th verse, if you see carefully. Buddhir jnanam asammoham kshama satyam damashamaha. All these are various qualities which are born of the mind. So the commentary here is all these, if you see this, this is actually text number 5. If you see here, bhutanam bhavaha bhutanam bhavanti matta eva. That means all these dispositions of the mind is coming from Krishna. Okay, so everything is coming from Krishna. So all these qualities in our mind are also coming from Krishna, Krishna says. And the focus in the commentary was that bhakti also comes from Krishna only, because bhakti is also arising in one's mind, the attraction to Krishna, the desire to want to serve him. So the idea here is that you get bhakti also from Krishna only, and that is what comes up later. Okay, then Krishna continues saying how all these Maharshis and all, they have also come from Krishna. And then he basically starts saying that anyone who understands that he is the origin of everything, everything is coming from him, with that knowledge, they start worshipping. So this was Yamunacharya had said, right? That someone who knows Krishna's qualities and how he is the controller of everything, in his heart, bhakti starts developing, a bhakti utpatti. And then how will vivriddhi happen? That is 10.9, Machitta Madhyata Prana, and subsequent verses also. So here again, Krishna's focus is the same thing, that how I am going to give him, my devotee, the intelligence. That means this bhakti yoga itself, this mature state of bhakti is given by Krishna only. So it is a gift of Krishna. If someone has a lot of bhakti in their life, it is to be seen as a gift of Krishna only. Okay. In this way, Krishna, we had completed till verse number 11. Okay. Now we will, now what I will do today is 12 to around 18, I will go a bit quickly. We will actually focus from 19 onwards because there Krishna starts speaking about his opulences. So this part I'll just go over slightly quickly. So 12 and 13 we know Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Arjuna Vacha, it is Arjuna is saying Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Bhagum Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Devarishi Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Cheva Bravishimi. I'm not reading the translations because the translations are very similar to what we have already learned from Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is. So Arjuna, what he's saying is that what you are telling me, you are the Supreme Lord, and all these things I have already heard from Asita, Devala, Narada, right, Vyasa, all these have confirmed, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. Okay, so basically Arjuna is giving pramana of various sages, saying that. So the question, Ramanuja, only one question is asking, why did he take these specific names only? So he says that because Arjuna values these people more than others. So that means Asita, Narada, Devala, Vyasa. These are very, very special sages. So he is, taking their names. Then the question obviously comes, okay, Asita, Devala, Narada, all are saying, what about you yourself, Arjuna? So he says, Sarva Meta Dritam Manye, Yanma Madasi Kesava, Nahite Bhagavan Viktim, Vidur Devana Danavaha. He says that even it's not that only these sages are saying, but even I have accepted it. I have accepted whatever you have told me. So like that he says. Then from 15 onwards, he basically starts petitioning Krishna to speak more. So that's what it is. So we'll read the verses. Swayam evatmanatmanam vetatvam purushottama bhuta bhavana bhutesha deva deva jagatpate. So he's saying, oh Krishna, the Supreme Person, through your knowledge only, without anyone's help, you know yourself, O Creator of all beings, O Controller of all entities, O God of all gods, O Lord of the whole universe, you only have the competence to speak about yourself clearly, so you should instruct me about yourself. So basically what Arjuna is saying is that anyone else in this world, like all of us, we can understand something only by the grace of Paramatma, or we need a guru or something like that. But as far as Krishna is concerned, he doesn't need anyone's help. He understands everything by himself only. Okay, his own greatness. So basically, Arjuna is glorifying, and he's basically saying that you don't need someone else to tell you all this, so you know everything. Okay. So Arjuna is basically going to request. So we'll just see some more verses. Vaktum arhasya seshena divya hyatma vibhutayah yavir vibhutivir lokan imam swam vyapya tishtati. Okay. So by which divine glories, opulences of your supreme self, you pervade all these worlds and are residing as its controller, please do describe completely these exceedingly wonderful divine glories, manifestations, opulences of yours. So he's requesting him to speak about his vibhuti. Right. So there are two important points that Ramanuja makes here. First thing he says is that Krishna's glories are such that we can read, hear, and try to understand, but ultimately the Lord has to be pleased with us. Only then one can understand that. That means it is revealed. This knowledge is to be revealed from the heart, he says. First thing. Second thing he says is, what is the meaning of vibhuti? Okay, so since this whole chapter is vibhuti yoga, we'll spend some time here to understand what is vibhuti. In English, we translate vibhuti as opulence, but he elaborates this word, saying vibhuti means the power by which one can control or influence others. This is vibhuti. So he gives an example, just like suppose there is a rich man. Okay, he has a big family and he has a lot of money. So somebody may say, he's very opulent because he has so much money with him. So he has a lot of vibhuti. But he says, no. Vibhuti means it's not just about having a lot of money or wealth, etc. But if you have people who will listen to you, then that is called as vibhuti. So that means you can influence people, right? Even today, if you see in the world, who are most famous people on all these TikTok or any social media platform, they are people who have some kind of influence over the others, right? Everyone, that's why, is crazy behind this. Number of followers on YouTube, number of followers on Facebook, Instagram, so on. Because that is vibhuti. on how many people you have influenced. Even if you see all channels or even if you see newspapers, everything is about viewership, readership, right? How many people you are able to impact, right? That is what everybody is behind in today's world, right? Um, Everywhere actually, in any circle, whether it is material or spiritual. I had an experience that during lockdown, even small children had channels of their own on YouTube in our devotee congregation, and everybody was concerned about how many views they have or how many followers they have on YouTube, because that is actually vibhuti. If you have several people on whom you have an influence, then you are considered powerful in a sense, right? So that is considered vibhuti. So that is how Ramanuja defines vibhuti. If you go back to Yamunacharya's statement, Swadhinatamatihi. Yeah. So Swadhinatamatihi means if you have how Krishna is actually, he is having terrific influence on everybody. That is his vibhuti. And that is actually what Arjuna is asking. And this is going to be the focus of this chapter. Vibhuti Yoga, how Krishna's vibhutis are unlimited. Simply said, to understand, in this world, people have vibhuti influence, but sometimes it changes also very quickly. Suddenly, somebody becomes infamous and he loses all his followers. So, these kind of things also happen. But Krishna's vibhuti is something very special. So Arjuna is basically asking, please describe them. Furthermore, what he is, so Tishtati as the controller. See, these words are here actually. Imam Lokan Tishtasi, residing as the controller. Okay, Divyahi, Atma Vibhuteha, glorious manifested opulences of yours. So in this way, Arjuna is asking him to talk about his vibhuti. Let's go ahead. Yeah, 17th verse. Katam vidyamaham yogam swam sada paricintayan keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintosi bhagavanmaya. Hey Krishna, I who have just embarked on practicing bhakti yoga and wanting to always meditate on you with devotion, in which manner should I understand you who possesses auspicious qualities and opulences, such that my devotion increases? How are you to be meditated upon by me, as united and possessing which other entities that you have under your control, apart from the mental dispositions like knowledge, intelligence, etc., stated earlier? Okay, so it's almost like a commentary only given here. It's not just a translation. So there is like a purport also given with every word here. So in this verse, basically, he's asking, how can I think of you? The whole this thing, this verse is very beautiful. Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintosi. The whole focus here is how we can see Krishna everywhere in this world. So 10th chapter is seeing Krishna everywhere, and 11th chapter is seeing everything in Krishna. So it's an amazing theme in the Gita. Where you are actually seeing God everywhere, right? You want to see Him in every around you. You want to have this experience of God. So this is the focus of the 10th chapter. Okay, so we are not just talking about Krishna as somebody who is transcendent and who is inaccessible, but we are talking about the Lord as someone whom we can actually experience around. Right? So how do you see? So that's what actually Arjuna is asking. Keshu Keshu Bhaveshu. Okay. And to whatever extent possible, obviously. Okay, so this is really something very special about the Gita, because here we are seeing, trying to understand God even in in things around us in this world. So this is actually the theme here. And why he's asking this? So the background Ramanuja says is the beginning of the 10th chapter. What did Krishna say? Krishna said that, hey, look, see, everything comes from me. The devatas also cannot understand. He gave some few examples like buddhir, jnana, asammoha. All these things come from me, he said. And then he also said that I only give bhakti also to my devotee. And then he quickly wrapped up that discussion. But Arjuna is not happy with that. He wants to do more. Okay, so he says that, okay, you had told buddhi, jnana, asammoha, all these things are coming from you. But I want to know much more in this context. So that is the theme here, right? Again, let's go ahead quickly to the 18th verse. Vistarena atmana yogam vibhutim cha janardhana bhuya kataya triptirhi shrinvato nasti me mritam. Krishna, to whom devotees pray for fulfillment of their desires, kindly please describe in detail, again, Vistarena, Vistar se, in detail, your auspicious qualities like being the cause of this universe, etc., and your glories like controllership of entities in this universe. Again, please note, Vibhuti is translated as controlling or influencing people in this world. As I drink with my ears your nectarine words, which you describe your wonderful glories, I never feel I've had enough of it. I want to go on listening. So I'm not having tripti. I'm not satiated hearing. Okay, so here Ramanuja says that, hey, look, see, Bhakti is very special. Krishna is very special. That is why Arjuna is saying this. And in fact, Ramanuja goes on to say that when Krishna spoke about Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, that time Arjuna did not say, hey, I want to hear more and more of this. No. Okay, so there were some descriptions there in the third chapter, fourth, fifth, sixth, etc. Arjuna was hearing and asking some pertinent questions over there, but he did not want to go, he did not say the same thing over there. Okay, so the reason he says is because Bhakti is so sweet, Krishna is so sweet that a devotee of Krishna wants to go on hearing about Krishna because he never feels that, I have listened enough, I have heard enough. Okay, and in this context, we have so many other examples like Rukmani, of Krishna. Then we also know in the Bhagavatam also something very similar happens, where at the end of the ninth canto, Parikshit Maharaj describes Krishna's pastimes in just one or two chapters. Everything is just summarized very quickly. And Sukadeva Goswami summarizes, and Parikshit says that, no, I want to hear much, much more. So please don't think that I'm thirsty and so on. I want to hear more. So please elaborate everything. So something similar has happened here. Krishna has already summarized his glories till now in the 10th chapter also and even before. But Arjuna wants to hear more and more. Okay, and he says that Ramananda says, see, Arjuna has so many qualifications to hear. In the 9th chapter, it was said Arjuna is non-envious, if you remember, 9.3. And in the 10th chapter beginning, it was said Krishna is only saying that you are very eager to hear about me. And also in 10.2, Krishna said that you are happy to hear about me. And now we are understanding that Arjuna is never satiated by hearing about Krishna. So many qualifications he has, because of which he is an ideal student of the Bhagavad Gita. Correct? So, yeah, so this is all the initial part where, Arjuna is from 12 to 19. This is one section where Arjuna is asking Krishna to speak more and more. Now, from the 19th verse, yeah, so 19th also, Krishna is just going to introduce something, but from the 20th verse, actually, we will go a bit slow. So we are going to do till about 25 today. Right, let's look at the 19th verse. Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Hantate Katayishyami Divya Hyatma Vibhuteha Pradhanyata Kuru Shrestha Nastyanto Vistarasya Me. Sri Krishna replies, oh Arjuna, best among the Gurus, I am so pleased. When the world is not interested to listening to these subjects, you are so much eager to listen and have so much thirst. I shall describe to you my divine auspicious qualities and my divine glories and opulences, selecting the preeminent ones among them, pradhanyataha, as there is no limit to my glories. Okay, so the interesting thing is, previously Arjuna basically said, Vistaren Atmano, Vistar se aap batao, he had said. Vistar means in great detail, please tell everything, Arjuna had said. But Krishna is not going to tell in detail. Because the commentary here is that if Krishna starts talking in detail, then the war can never begin, because there is so much to say. So what does Krishna do? He says pradhanyataha. Pradhanyataha means I am going to take certain groups. Okay, so the commentary here is what Krishna is going to do now in the 10th chapter is he's going to take a group, any group like devatas, sages, group, and show how in the essence of that is him. Okay, and because it is the essence of the group is him, then the whole group is subservient to him. So if he's controlling the top person in the group, then everyone in the group is subservient to him, right? So if you remember, we have already defined vibhuti as ability to control and influence. So let's say in a company there are 100 workers. Above them there are 10 managers, and above the 10 managers there is 2 general managers or something, and there is a CEO who is only controlling the main general manager. So only one person he is controlling, but that is enough because he is controlling that main person. All the others are automatically under his control. So something like that. So that is the logic presented here, where we are going to see Krishna's opulences in this particular fashion, right? Yeah. So now onwards we go a bit slow. So the 20th verse here. Ahamatma Gudakesha Sarvabhuta Shayastitah Ham Adischa Madhyam Cha Bhutanam Anta Evacha. Okay, look at the translation here. O Arjuna, conqueror of sleep and laziness, I dwell in the heart of all sentient beings who are embodied in a non-sentient body as their antaratma, their inner self. And all these beings are supported, controlled by me, and subservient to me. I am the cause of the creation of all the beings' entities, the cause of their sustenance, and the cause of their destructions. So we'll go a bit slower here. So first, so this verse, na, this 10.20, this acts as a key verse for this entire 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because here Krishna is talking about his role as Paramatma. Okay, so who is Paramatma? Anta Pravishta Shasta Jananam Sarvatma. The Vedas say. Anta Pravishta, one who enters in the core of the heart. And Shasta. Shasta means Shasan Karna. Jananam. Okay, for all living entities. He is the controller, right? Upadesha Anumanta Bhatta Bhokta Meshwara. It comes in Gita later. So, so this is Paramatma, right? So Sarvatma, this verse that I read, Anta Pravishta Shasta Jananam Sarvatma. Sarvatma is another synonym for Paramatma only. Okay, so the Lord is entering the heart of every living entity, and he is controlling as the Antaryami. Now, this Antaratma is also called as Atma only in this verse. Now, why it is like that, we will see that. Okay. Because here, if you see, the word is Atma, but the translation is Paramatma. Okay. And this happens with Prabhupada's translations also several times. You may have seen that word may be Atma, but it is translated as Paramatma. The reason is that what is Atma? So, first of all, one has to understand who is Atma. Atma means, so Ramanuja again quotes, there are certain verses that say, Yasya Chetanasya Yad Dravyam Sarvatmana Swarte Niyantum Dharayatvam Shakyam Tat Sheshasthaikam Swarupam Cha Tat Tasya Shariram. So he says, so okay, it's a long verse that I read, but I'll explain in short. So what is Sharira? This Sharira means where there is an Atma which maintains, controls, works for its benefit, then that entity is called Sharira for that Atma. So what is Sharira? Wherever there is an Atma which is maintaining the Sharira, controlling the Sharira, working for the benefit of Sharira, then that entity becomes Sharira for that Atma. Without Sharira, Atma is just Chetana. That means if the Atma is not having a Sharira, then it is actually not called as, the word Atma isn't used over there. And without Atma, Sharira becomes just a lump of flesh. It doesn't, it is not called Sharira. So the word Sharira means there has to be Atma. Now the Lord is also called as an Atma because, he's Paramatma. But the point is, he is also doing all these functions. Okay? He is also basically supporting, controlling the Sharira. Okay, so just like we all know, right? When the Sharira, only when the Atma is there in the Sharira can stand up, for example. You can stand up, you can do things. Atma leaves, the Sharira cannot do anything. And the same logic is applied to Paramatma also. So it is because of that Paramatma who is present, the Atma is able to do this. Okay, so we are just going one step ahead. Okay, so the Antaratma or the Paramatma is actually causing things to happen. So anything, if the Atma is able to do within the body, it is only by the grace of Paramatma. So that's the point here. And where is he sitting? There are two opinions here. One opinion is that he's sitting next to the Atma. And there is also one opinion which says that the Paramatma goes inside the Atma and is sitting inside. But anyway, whatever that may be, let's stick to the one that we have normally heard, that the Paramatma is sitting next to the Atma, like two birds on a tree. Okay. Angushta Matra. So this verse is also there in the Upanishad. Angushta Matra Purusha Madhya Armani Tishtati. We many times hear, right, where it is said that the Lord is the size of the thumb. Okay, so this is an Upanishadic Vakya, Angushta Matra. Okay, he is the size of the Angushta and he is Tishtati in the heart of the living entity, this verse says. So somebody may say, what if some animal doesn't have a heart, like some microorganism or something which has no heart? Okay, he said somewhere over there. But it is the size of the thumb in proportion to that entity. Remember, it's not. So the whole point here is, so Ramanuja gives a brilliant example here. The example is sweet. He says, on one hand, there is Akasha or ether, which is there everywhere, but doesn't control anything. Okay, Akasha is there everywhere, but it doesn't control anything. On the other hand, there is a king. The king is sitting in one place and ruling the country, but he's not there everywhere. Okay, he's only sitting in one place, the king. Okay, he is controlling, but he's not there everywhere. So he says there are these two opposites. There is a king who is sitting in one place and controlling, and there is an Akash which is there everywhere but not controlling. So he says the Antaryami is a combination of both. He's there everywhere also, and he's controlling also. So both these characteristics he has. Okay, so it's not that he has only one. So this verse that Krishna speaks over here, Aham Atma Gudakesh, saying that he is the Atma. Atma means in this context Paramatma. So what we are going to understand from this is that as we go ahead now, this is the background for all the verses that are going to come. Okay, I will constantly be referring to this verse, and then you will be able to appreciate that better. Okay, so now what Krishna will do is he will take every group and show that the mukhya person in that group is he. Okay, so let's see how that happens. Okay. And we will connect it to this verse also. I have not yet finished 10.20. I'll keep coming back to that. Okay, so let's start with 21. Adityanam aham Vishnu Jyotishanam Ravi Anshuman Marichir Marutam Asmi Nakshatranam aham Sashi. Among the 12 Adityas or the sons of Aditi, I am the 12th Aditya called Vishnu. Okay. Among the luminous objects in the world which illuminate other entities, I am the sun. Among the 49 Maruds, the sons of Diti and Marichi, I am the moon who is the lord of the stars. Okay, so this verse again needs explanation. So here, what is Krishna going to do in the 10th chapter? All of us have anyway read 10th chapter several times, so we know the theme here. Krishna is going to take a group and say that, talk about the topmost, like among all the animals, I am the lion. Somebody may say, why is he saying that I am the lion? He can say that I control the lion, right? Because see, if you remember, we had discussed Vibhuti means what? Vibhuti means he is controlling or influencing everything. Okay, so Krishna's Vibhuti is what? That he controls and influences everything in the universe. So the question may be raised, why should he say I am the lion? He can say that the lion is under the control. He can say that, why should he say I'm Indra, for example? There is another verse, right, that comes that says I'm Indra. He can say I'm controlling Indra. Why should he say I'm Indra? Okay, so for that, Ramanuja says, see, it is something like this. When we generally address somebody, okay, so let's say we are addressing some XYZ person, which is me. Okay, there is somebody called Keshava. Okay, so we are addressing Keshava. Hey, Keshava, come here. His name is Keshava. So whom are we addressing? At one level, he says we are addressing the body. Okay, but it's not just the body we are addressing. The Sharira we are addressing because there is an Atma sitting inside. Okay, if the person is dead and gone, there is no point addressing him by the name. Okay, so as such, we are addressing the Atma, okay, who has this Sharira. We are addressing him as Keshav. But if you go one step behind, there is the Paramatma in the heart of that Jiva who is actually controlling and doing things in the body, right? Who is making this fellow do everything. So in one sense, that Keshava or that address goes to him also. So this is where, there is Achintya Beda Beda, right? There is a oneness and a difference. So we generally emphasize a lot on the difference, but there is a oneness also. In every living entity, in every living and non-living entity, there is Paramatma. Whether it is Thavara or Jangama, there is Paramatma everywhere. So anything you address at the extreme point, you are actually addressing Paramatma. Okay, so Ramanuja gives an example. He says, just like suppose somebody is chanting Gayatri Mantra. We all know at one level Gayatri is to the sun, right? Sun planet. I'm not reciting the Gayatri, we are not to be recited, but we all know that Gayatri addresses the sun planet, sun. But is it addressing only the external sun? No, it is actually addressing the sun god, right? The Vivaswan, you may say, or whoever is the Adipati of the sun, the Atma of the sun. But then you can go one step further ahead and say it is addressing the Paramatma in the heart of that Surya Devata. Okay? Surya Narayana. He is the Paramatma in the heart of Surya Devata. Okay, so the same Gayatri is addressing the sun also. It is addressing, that means the body. It is addressing the Atma, that is the Surya Devata, who is the Adipati of the sun, the Surya. And it is also addressing the Paramatma Surya Narayan in the heart of the Surya Devata. All three are being addressed. Okay. The ultimate address is to the Paramatma only. Okay. At other superficial levels, it is to the Atma and the Sharira. But ultimately, it is him. That is why he says, Krishna in this entire chapter, what is he saying? I am that, he says. I am Indra. I am the sun. So I am the sun means what? He is the Paramatma in the heart of that Devata who is the Adipati of the sun. And because he is the Paramatma, what did we see in the previous verse? Aham Atma. He said he is Atma. Atma in general means what? So now we also understand why Atma word only is used. Because Atma word refers to that ability to control the Sharira and dictate things to the Sharira. Chalo, now you do this, do that. So because ultimately he only, with his sanction only, everything is happening. So he is addressed. So that's the point here. And that is how he is actually influencing and controlling everybody. Okay, so if anybody is doing some fantastic thing, we have to understand and appreciate that actually, yes, there is the Paramatma in the heart of this Jiva, and he has permitted this particular body to do something wonderful like this. And that is how we see Krishna in everything. So that's the focus of this chapter. Correct? So I hope you are able to connect this point. 10.20 is the key verse in this chapter where Krishna says, Aham Atma Gudakesha. And all other verses are in connection with that only. Right? And that's what is going to happen now. So we will see some examples. We are going to see only another 6-7 verses today. So what is Krishna saying here? He's saying, among the Adityas, I am the 12th Aditya, who is Vishnu. So there are 12 Adityas, right? Which Vivaswan, and there are several, the names are there of the Adityas. And the 12th Aditya is called as Vishnu. And he's saying, I am that. Why is he saying I am that? Because if he is Vishnu, then the lesser Adityas are automatically him only, right? Are influenced by him. So when we say that he's Vishnu here, what does it mean? First, it means that he's a Paramatma in the heart of that 12th Aditya. But more importantly, and he's controlling this 12th Aditya, and he's influencing this 12th Aditya. And this 12th Aditya, who is the most famous among the 12, whatever this fellow is able to do, accomplish, it is all by the Paramatma's sanction only and his grace only. By his influence only, this person is doing this. If that is the case, what about the lesser Adityas? They are automatically under his influence, right? So this is how what Krishna is doing is he's taking a group and he's showing that the chief of that group, I am influencing and controlling them. As the Paramatma, I do that. So then that is his opulence. So that is Vibhuti, as we discussed earlier. Right? Yeah. So now let's go ahead. So Jyotishanam Ravi Anshuman. Among all the luminaries, I am the Ravi, Surya. Because there are so many luminaries. But the top luminary is with Surya. And in that Surya, whoever is the Devata of that Surya, who is controlling that person? He is again Krishna. So if he is controlling the topmost luminary, then what to speak of other luminaries? They're automatically under his control. So that's the point. Okay. Then what is the point? Then the third thing here is Marichi, Marichi Maruta Masmi. So there are the 49 Maruts, right? The sons of Diti. The chief among them is this person named Marichi. He says, I'm that. The fourth thing mentioned in this verse, Ramanuja says this is different. Okay, so pay attention here. Nakshatranam aham shashi. ये क्या होता है nakshatra? Okay, just one more thing before I go to Nakshatranam aham shashi. Ramanuja here he says that 12 Adityas. So he says there are 12 Adityas, 11 Rudras, 8 Vasus, and 2 Ashwini Kumaras, which make 33. Okay, so he says that this 33 crore Devata we hear, na, actually it is 33 Koti. Koti, he says, you should not always see as a number like 1 crore. It can be seen as group. So Koti means a group. So 33 Koti means these are the 33 chief Devatas, 12 Adityas, 11 Rudras, 8 Vasus, and 2 Ashwini Kumaras. And each of these Devata has a group. who is subservient to him. Thus, there are 33 groups of devatas. It's a grouping actually. So that group is called as koti. It need not necessarily mean that crore, the number that we understand. So that is one additional point that is there. Anyway, going ahead, we see nakshatranam aham shashi. What does this mean? So he says, see, Krishna, he says, there are two types of statements. Please hear carefully. One is Krishna can say, I am Arjuna among the Pandavas, which means what? Among the Pandavas, Arjuna is the most famous or whatever. And the Paramatma in the heart of Arjuna is also Krishna only. And Krishna only is controlling and influencing others. That's one way. Another statement we can make is Krishna is the essence of the Pandavas. Please understand, this is different. When I say Krishna is the essence of the Pandavas, what that means is the Pandavas, the 5 Pandavas who are there, the essential thing in their life is Krishna. So he says it is in that context we are supposed to see the 4th line in this verse. Ramanuja says, Nakshatranam aham shashi. That means I am the moon who is the lord of the stars, because these 27 nakshatras are considered to be female. They are considered to be wife of the moon. Okay, so there is a Puranic story where the moon marries these 27 nakshatras. So when Krishna is saying, so here moon is not considered a nakshatra. Okay, so this is one difference between Ramanuja's commentary and Prabhupada's commentary. Prabhupada talks about the moon also as one of the stars, but Ramanuja says we have to look at this verse differently. He says that among the 27 nakshatras, when Krishna is saying I am Shashi, it doesn't mean that Shashi or the moon is one of the nakshatras. Rather, he says you are supposed to see it like this. The essence, the lord of all the nakshatras, the husband is the lord, right? The husband or the lord of all the nakshatras, one who is controlling, because husband, pati means one who controls in some sense. Control not in that negative sense of domination, but in sense of influence. The husband has that influence over his wife. So he says when the Krishna is saying here, I am Shashi among the I am Nakshatrana, I am Shashi, it means I am influencing all these who are my wives. These nakshatras are the wives of the moon, and the Paramatma or the essence of the moon is Krishna only. There is moon physically, there is a moon Devata, Chandra Devata. In the Chandra Devata's heart, there is Paramatma, and that is Krishna. And he is influencing everything, whatever Chandra does. And in this way, not only Chandra, but all those 27 nakshatras are also subservient to him. So it becomes a vibhuti, right? It becomes something very special. Right? So, yeah. Let's go ahead. Vedanam sama vedosmi devanam asmi vasavaha indriyanam manaschasmi bhutanam asmi chetana. Among the 4 Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva, I am the preeminent Sama Veda. Among the divinities who reside in Swarga, I am Indra. Among the different sense organs, I am the manas, and I am consciousness of the sentient entities. Okay, so some commentary here. Among all the Vedas, Krishna says is Sama Veda. What does that mean? That means Sama is considered superior to all the Vedas. That means among the 4 Vedas, Sama Veda is considered the topmost. Why like that? 2 reasons he says. One is that it is music. So Sama Veda is sung actually. It's actually very beautiful to hear. I've had the opportunity sometimes to hear the recitation of Sama Veda. And I would say it is mesmerizing to hear. If someone can chant Sama Veda nicely, and if you hear them chanting, it is an amazing vibration that comes out. The difference is Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, etc. They are prose. Okay, so they are recited like prose. But Sama Veda is sung. Even today, those Brahmin families who belong to Sama Veda, from their childhood, they say that the child's throat has to be preserved nicely by giving appropriate food so that he can sing well. Because it's very important for a Brahmana who belongs to a particular Veda to recite that Veda. So I've had the opportunity to hear, and if some of you can hear, sometimes you should. It's just beautiful to hear. So first thing, so why Sama Veda superior? First thing, it is music. And we all know that music is anytime more superior to prose recitation. As in, it's more melodious, it's more sweet to hear. It's very. Second thing is Samaveda has 1,000 shakhas, whereas the Rig, Yajur, and Atharva Veda have 15, 21, and 9 shakha. So shakha means what? Shakha means branches. That means each shakha of Samaveda will be slightly different from the other. There will be some mantras in some shakha which is not there in another shakha, or something maybe sung in a little different meter, and so on. So essence is all the same, but it has 1,000 shakhas. Originally, today they say that there are very few left, only 2, 3 are left. Most have become looked because nobody preserved it properly. But anyway, so it has 1,000 shakhas. So Krishna is saying here that I am Samaveda. So which means what? That means I am here. Here, should we think Krishna is controlling Samaveda? No. Here again, here the meaning is not controlling. So in everything, Ramanuja gives a different meaning. Here he says we should not, when Krishna is saying I am Samaveda, we should not think Krishna is controlling him. What it means by controlling the Veda? Krishna is not controlling the Veda. That means Krishna says I am understood by Samaveda. That is how you should look at this statement here. Vedanam Samavedos means I am understood by Samaveda. So then what is the interpretation? That means, if Krishna is understood by Samaveda, why will he not be understood by Rigveda, Yajurveda, Atharva Veda? Because Samaveda is the topmost Veda. From that you can understand Krishna. Everything is going to take you to Krishna. So also like that, right? The other things, the same meaning. Bhutana Masmi Vasavaha. Among the Devatas, I am Indra. So that we have to understand the previous meaning, which I told you. The standard meaning is what? The standard meaning for most of these verses is that I control and influence that Devata by sitting in his heart as Paramatma, like that. Then among the senses, I am the mind. Yeah, because we all know that the mind is the king of the senses, right? If you take the senses, the king of the senses is the mind. We all have this experience that mental pleasure, mental distress, is both of these. They have a very big impact on our lives. Even if some sense is not doing so well, let's say someone has some cold or some problem in the ear, etc. That can be painful. That can be distressing at some level. But at mental level, as someone is frustrated and demotivated or morose, that has a completely different impact on someone's life, right? So healthy mind is very important. And Krishna is saying that, so he is actually the controller of the mind. Okay, so when he says he is the mind, he is the controller. And this has already been elaborated earlier. Please refer 10.5, 10.6, 10.4, 5, 6. All qualities in the mind, Krishna says, come from me only. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so he is the mind. In that sense, he is controlling the mind. He is influencing everybody's mind. Okay, and Bhutana, the essence of a living entity is Chetana. Okay? The essence of any living entity is the consciousness, Chetana. And that consciousness is being controlled by Krishna. Okay? As in, he is the master, the lord of the consciousness. Okay? Vasudeva, he is the lord of consciousness. So in this way, this verse has to be understood. Let's go ahead. Rudranam Shankarashchasmi Vittesho Yaksharakshakam Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Meru Shukarinama. Okay, so now some verses I will go quickly. Rudranam Shankarachasmi. There are 11 Rudras. Remember, we had said there are 12 Adityas. And among the Adityas, the Lord is the 12th one, who is Vishnu. Among the 12 Rudras, the essence, the leader of them is Shankara. That is Shiva. He says that I am that. So he's the Lord, he's the influencer, he's the Paramatma of Shiva, controlling him, influencing him, making him do things in certain ways and so on. So it's the same meaning, the standard meaning. Rudranam Shankara. Vittesho Yaksharakshakam. Among the Yakshas and Rakshasas, he is Kuvera. Again, same meaning. He is influencing, controlling Kuvera. Then what to speak of all the other Yakshas and Rakshasas? Everybody becomes subservient to him. So can you imagine his vibhuti? Now Vasus have come. So please remember, 12 Adityas are over, 11 Rudras are over, now 8 Vasus. Among the 8 Vasus, who is Krishna? He says, I am Pavakaha, the god of fire. So there are 8 Vasus, among them Pavakaha is the leader, the chief Vasu. He says, I am that, I am Pavakaha among that. Again, same meaning. The fourth one is slightly different. Meru Shikarinamaham. Among mountains with lofty, beautiful peaks, I am Meru. Why Meru? He says Meru because Meru is a golden mountain. Not only he says Meru is a golden mountain, but the Puranas say that the Shikara of Meru is made up of diamond. Can you imagine? Golden mountain with the crest, the top part of diamond. And it is very tall also. And that is why that is the Paramatma of that mountain is Krishna. That's the point here. Then, which means that what about other ordinary mountains? Obviously, they are all under his control. The topmost mountain is under his influence, and everyone else is also. Okay, let's go ahead now. Yeah, I'm just going to take now 3 more verses, last three, 24, 25, and 26. Yeah. Purodasham, Purodasham cha mukyam mam vidhi partha brihaspati senanina maham skandaha sarasam api sagaraha. Sarasam asmi sagaraha. Hey Arjuna, among the Purohits, the priest, understand me to be the most exalted Brihaspati. Among the army commanders in Mandalam, I am Subramanya, the army general of the gods. Among the reservoirs of water which is held in storage and not flowing water, I am ocean. Okay, so we'll elaborate one by one. There are only 3 points mentioned in this verse. First thing he's saying, among all the priests, he says, I am Brihaspati. That means, see, so what is Puroda? Puroda means, Pura means standing before. That means one who stands before us, in front of us and does is called Purodas. So that is Purohit, one who stands in front and does Hita for us. That's why any function we do, we need a Purohit, someone who stands in front of us and does it for us. Purahita yasmat Purohitaha. That's the definition. Okay, so now there are so many Purohits. You want to do Vastu, you want to arrange a marriage of your son, daughter, whatever, you will call some Purohit. But who's the topmost Purohit in the universe? That is Brihaspati. Because he is the Purohit of the Devatas. When Indra, Chandra in their house, they want to do something, they will invite Brihaspati for that. Correct. So Brihaspati is the topmost Purohit. And Krishna is saying that I am that. That means he is the Paramatma, he is influencing the heart of Brihaspati. What to speak of other Purohits in this world? They are all obviously subservient to Krishna. Now Ramanuja also does another thing. He defines Brihaspati. Very interesting definition. Briha means something very big, right? Pati means the Lord. That means Brihaspati literally means someone who is the Lord, Pati, of something very big. So someone may ask a question, what is that big thing of which he is Pati? Right, so you're calling him Brihaspati. Brihaspati means he's Pati of something very big. What that something is, that has not been said in his name. Right? So somebody may say, you know, whose Pati is he? What is that so-called very big thing whose Pati he is, because of which he got the name Brihaspati? So the answer he gives is speech is the biggest thing. Speech is the greatest, because speech, you can influence anyone by your speech. And because this Brihaspati, this person who has this name Brihaspati, is topmost in that, that means he is excellent in speech. Hence his name is Brihaspati. Okay, so there is no one who can speak like him. That's why he's called as Brihaspati. Okay, so the very interesting point I thought that. And it's so true also, because we see that, like we saw recently also during the Ram Mandir inauguration and all that, our Prime Minister, when he was speaking about Ram, right, and it was an amazing speech, right, and people actually started feeling that how a person can speak like this, so wonderfully, almost impromptu, and not carrying any notes with him, just speaking on Ram. That whole clipping is there, what all attributes he gave Lord Ram in his speech on the occasion of the opening of the temple. So speech is something by which you can influence people. Please understand, this whole topic of 10th chapter is Vibhuti. And I'm repeating again, Vibhuti means how you influence people, and speech is something you can influence. And the topmost person who can influence by his speech is a person called Brihaspati. And the Lord is the Paramatma controlling, influencing Brihaspati as well. Okay, hence he is saying here, Purodasa, Vidhi Partha Brihaspati. Senanam aham Skandaha. Okay, among all the commanders, Subramanya or Kartikeya, Skandaha, he is considered the topmost commander. And he is saying that he is the controller, the Paramatma of that. Sarasa must be Sagaraha. Now see, it's very interesting. Sarasa literally means pond. Sarasa means pond. Sarasa means something that is storage, not flowing water. So somebody may say, Are Krishna should have said some Manasarovar or something. But no. Pond here means, Sarasa means something that doesn't move. Water body that doesn't move. So Krishna has said Sagara because the ocean, that is also like a Sarasa only, in one way. It doesn't move. As in it's fixed in one place. Of course, there may be waves and all, but otherwise, the water of the ocean is not moving anywhere. It is stationary only. So he's that, he's saying. That means he's the Lord of that. Okay, he's the Lord of the ocean. So for flowing water, Krishna later says he is Ganga. Okay, so that's a completely different concept. Srotas, that will come in another verse. Yeah. Just two more verses. Yeah, 25th verse. Maharshinam Bruguraham Giramasmyekam Aksharam Yajnanam Japa Yajñosmi Stavaranam Himalaya. Among the great seers living in Bhuloka, I am Bhrigu Maharshi. Among the sounds which have meaning attached, I am the single syllabled pranava. Of the methods of worship to gods, I am Japa. Among the mountain ranges, I am Himalaya. There's some elaboration here. Okay, the first one is very easy. Among all the Maharshis, the topmost Maharshi is called Bhrigu. Generally, it is said two Maharshis are very, very famous. One is Bhrigu and the other is Markandeya. So it is said if you go to south in most temples, you will see a murti of Bhrigu Markandeya outside the temple, or somewhere you will have to see, because they are the greatest Maharshi. And Bhrigu is considered outstanding in that. And Krishna is saying that he is the Paramatma, he is the influencer of Bhrigu. Okay. The second thing he says, Giram. So this commentary is interesting. So he says sound in this world, there are two types of sound. One is sound that addresses something, like I call the name of someone. Then that is one type of sound. Another type of sound is called Dhwani, which is like let's say there is some thunder or something, right? There are so many types of sound even from musical instruments you produce, which may not be addressing anybody, which may be just be some Dhwani. Okay. So here Krishna is talking about sound which has meaning attached to it. And among all those sounds, who is he? He is saying, I am the Pranava, the Omkara, because that is addressing Krishna himself. Okay. Now this is interesting. Yajnanam Japa Yajñosmi. So what is Yajna? So Yajna, Ramanuja defines Yajna means Yaja Pujaya. Yaja Pujaya means worshipping a Devata is called Yajna. Now how can you worship a Devata? There are many ways to worship a Devata. One way to worship a Devata is Homa. Homa means offering some oblations in the sacred fire. That is Homa. Other is Archana. Like you can offer lamb, right? Agarbatti, so many things we offer. Dhupa, Deepa, everything. Archana. There is Archana, Homa, Stotra. Stotra means you can sing praises of that Devata. And there is Japa. Japa is chanting the name of that Devata. So it is said there are four ways in which generally any Devata can be worshipped, and that becomes Yajna. Yajna means, as I said, Yaja Pujaya, worshipping a Devata. And among these four, Japa is considered the topmost to worship any Devata. Okay, so it's not just about Krishna. In any Devata, there is Japa. Anyone wants to approach any Devata, there is Japa, there is Nama Japa of that Devata. That is how you approach it. Okay, so there are some shlokas given in the Smritis which says Vidhi Yajna Japa Yajna Vishishto Dashabir Gunaihi. Japa is considered 10 times more powerful than other methods of worshipping any Devata. And that is why Krishna is saying that among all ways of worshipping gods, look at the translation here, I am Japa. Okay, so here it is not that controller meaning. Please remember. Remember I told you, most of the times it is the meaning is in 10th chapter is going to be Krishna saying I am the influencer Paramatma in the heart. But here it is not that. Here he is saying that I am that Japa itself. And among the mountains I am Himalaya. So Sthavarana, mountains that don't move. Prabhupada has given that purpose. The Himalaya doesn't. Yeah. Okay. The last verse for today. Ashwatta Sarva Vrikshanam Devarshinam cha Narada Gandharvanam Chitraratah Siddhanam Kapilo Munihi. Ashwatta Sarva Vrikshanam. So Ashwatha, he basically translates as the people tree here. Prabhupada translates it as banyan tree, but for some reason I am seeing two translations here. Many other translators have also said Ashwatha as people only. So whatever it is. So the people tree is considered very auspicious. So Krishna is saying that he is, and in fact, some places like you see Naimisharanya, it's a forest. You go to Naimisharanya, there is no deity there specific. That whole forest only is considered Krishna. That means all those trees are considered Krishna only. I think that forest itself is considered Krishna. So sometimes even trees. So trees are very worshipable, right, in our system and culture. So I was always very touched by that story of Prabhupada in Juhu temple where they wanted to construct a temple. There was some tree coming in the middle. Prabhupada refused to cut that, saying that in our religion trees cannot be cut. So he said, we will not cut it. He changed the whole design of the temple to accommodate that tree, which was very surprising to many people because people thought, Arey, why are you so fussy about it? Just knock it down. No, but trees are sacred, especially these special trees, and Ashwatha is considered topmost among them. Right? So he's the Paramatma of that. The rest everything is simple. He is Narada. He is among all rishis, Narada is the topmost rishi. So he is the influencer Paramatma of Narada. Among Gandharva, Chitraratha is the topmost Gandharva. So he says, I am the influencer of Chitraratha. And among Siddhis, those who have attained 8 yogic perfections, Kapila is the topmost. And Krishna is the influencer, the Paramatma of Kapila as well. And thus, thus we understand the vibhutis of Krishna. With this, I shall end the day. And if there are any questions, we'll just take. Anybody with any questions? Raise your hand. Okay. No questions, we will end. Even I'm going to temple. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.